Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at a fascinating physics mystery that we see in action every single day but rarely stop to dissect. We are exploring the physics of buoyancy and unlocking the mystery of materials. Let's dive right into this. Part 1, the Great Steel Paradox. So, to get us started, we are focusing our investigation entirely on one specific, highly dense material, solid steel. Keeping that material in mind, here is the big question that kicks off our whole investigation. Why do massive ships float? Think about it. When you stand at a modern port, you see these colossal, towering structures made of thousands upon thousands of tons of heavy metal, just sitting perfectly peacefully on top of the water. Given everything we intuitively understand about gravity and heavy metals, how is that physically possible? Consider a tiny, solid steel coin. If you toss that coin into a swimming pool or a pond, it sinks instantly, right? It drops straight to the bottom without a moment of hesitation. But a colossal cruise ship or a supertanker constructed from thousands of tons of that exact same steel floats effortlessly. We are talking about the identical material with the identical atomic density, yielding a completely different physical outcome. This perfectly illustrates that weight alone simply cannot dictate the result. There has to be a deeper, fundamental mechanic at play here. Part 2, Archimedes Principle defined. The core of this mechanical mystery is solved by Archimedes Principle. It states that any object submerged in a fluid experiences an upward buoyant force equal to the weight of the fluid the object displaces. Simply put, water exerts pressure. When you push an object into a body of water, the water actively pushes back up against it. But the absolutely incredible part is how we calculate the precise mathematical strength of that upward push. It is exactly equal to the weight of the water that was shoved out of the way to make room for the object. Part 3, the secret of displacement. The absolutely crucial conceptual shift here is moving away from the object's weight and focusing entirely on the displaced fluid. You have to stop analyzing how heavy the object itself is, and instead visualize the physical space it carves out in the water. Imagine the exact volume of water that an object shoves aside when it enters a lake or an ocean. The weight of that specific chunk of displaced water is the only variable that truly dictates the outcome. It's a complete inversion of how we usually think about heavy objects. It ultimately comes down to a really simple, elegant battle of weights. If an object pushes aside a volume of water that is heavier than the object itself, the upward buoyant force wins the battle against gravity and the object floats. Conversely, if the displaced water weighs less than the total weight of the object, gravity takes over and it sinks to the bottom. It's kind of like a constant tug of war between the downward pull of gravity on the object's mass and the upward push of the surrounding fluid trying to reclaim its space. Part 4, submarines and massive ships. This brings us right back to our initial paradox. That solid steel coin sinks because it's incredibly compact. It displaces very little water relative to its dense weight. The tiny amount of water it pushes aside weighs practically nothing compared to the dense steel, so gravity wins instantly. But a massive steel ship? That's a marvel of naval architecture. It is built hollow, with a sprawling, wide hull designed specifically to spread its mass over a vast area. Because of this geometry, it carves out a massive cavern in the ocean. The volume of water displaced by that hollow hull weighs significantly more than the steel of the ship itself, so the upward force easily overpowers the steel's weight, allowing it to float. To really grasp the sheer scale of this engineering, imagine a cargo ship weighing exactly 50,000 tons. According to our principle, for that massive vessel to stay above the surface, its whole geometry must push aside exactly 50,000 tons of ocean water. The very moment that displaced water weight matches the ship's total weight, the vessel hits a state of perfect physical equilibrium. The forces balance out entirely. The ship settles into its draft line and rides the waves, achieving a perfect state of balance with its environment. We can actually take this a step further and look at how humans actively manipulate this physical equilibrium in real time. Submarines operate by constantly adjusting this exact mathematical ratio. By opening valves and rapidly taking heavy seawater into their ballast tanks, they increase their total weight without changing their exterior shape or displacement. Gravity starts winning and they dive. Then, by using high-pressure air to violently blow that water back into the ocean, they shed weight, the upward buoyant force takes over, and they rise. It's a brilliant, dynamic control of equilibrium, and it's exactly this mastery of physics that allows millions of tons of cargo to reliably cross the world's oceans every single day. Part 5, moving on to chemistry. Just as massive ships and deep-sea submarines rely on a delicate, calculated state of physical equilibrium to navigate the oceans, the microscopic world relies on equilibrium too. In our next explainer, we're going to dive into the fascinating world of chemistry to explore Le Chatelier's principle, looking at how atomic and molecular structures find their own unique balance. We've seen how macro, physical objects find their balance in fluids, but how do chemical systems respond when you violently disturb their balance? When you force a chemical reaction out of its comfort zone by changing the temperature or the pressure, what actually happens next? Well, that's a mystery for our next explainer. Thanks for joining me today.